Hi, welcome to the Journey Africa. I'm your host, Faith Murungu, and on today's episodes, we are joined by the amazing Akuya Ekarot. Drum roll, please. Hi, Akuya.
Hi. That's dramatic.
You have to be dramatic, man. Okay, so who is Akuya?
Okay. That question, I don't know.
That's right.
It's a very hard question to answer, especially for me. Because Babu, I just don't do one thing. There's a lot of things that make me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So Akuya is a father. Akuya is okay, so okay, but seriously, so fatherhood equal like very ingrained in my identity.
Yeah.
That's who I am. And the other thing, I have this idea of a person who I want to be, so I always tell myself that's who I am.
Yeah.
So Misema, I am a wholesome, I'm a kind man. And yeah, so that's like just describe me. So wholesome, kind, and I help when I can.
You help when you can. So the main reason you're in this episode is because you have a background in film, and now you're in tech.
Yeah.
Those two worlds. But let's start with tech. Let's start with film. Tell us a bit of background about film. How did you get into film and all that?
Okay, so I've like I think when I discovered not film per se, but now the performing and the visual arts is when I was in high school, right? So I was in high school, I got into drama and I loved performing from then. And yeah, but at that point, it was just, something I was just doing in school, never thought of it seriously until one of my friends in like one of my shows just told me that you should seriously consider taking this as a career. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And the thing was because in school, a lot of people were like people just knew me as the technical guy. They just knew me as the guy who's sharp in like chemistry, physics. So they just knew this guy is going to end up be an engineer. Same.
Yeah.
I also thought I was going to be So when we finished high school, we had that break. That like 9 months before you go to school. So I had to keep myself busy. I took a couple of technical courses. So I did like some Cisco networking stuff for my text side. But I also participated in like a local theater in Nakuru Place Theater. I'm from Nakuru. And so from there, that's when like my performance career like really
started to pick up.
So I did so much more in my performance side than I was doing in my tech side.
Yeah.
And when it came now to choose my course, I was like in that dilemma because I love these things so much. But I decided, since I already have this head start in this performance career as a poet, as an actor, let me take that. So now I went to school, did a major in like theater arts and film.
Well, you're very good at poetry. Yeah, I think I've heard a bit of your poems. Yeah.
So that's what it was. So it was just me continuing with my career in like performance poetry and acting and film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's like my background.
So you get into school. Is it anything you expected? Did you enjoy film now more and you wanted to deep dive in it? What were expectations met?
So my expectations were not met just because public universities in Kenya, we don't even have to go to that discussion. But the course itself, the things I was learning, the things they were at least exposing me to, that was fine because you have to learn by yourself either way in these schools. No one like going to give you all of that. So I enjoyed it because I got to now explore way more. So I became like a script writer. I added technique to my talent, which now made everything way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so after school, what did you do after school now? You've graduated with this film degree. So did you use it or what happened?
Yeah. So I used it because even as I was doing my film studies and everything, I started gravitating towards, again, the technical sides of film. So I went deep.
You were never running away from tech.
Yeah. So I went into like visual effects.
Yeah.
I went into video editing and all of that. Things that a lot of people considered a little bit more technical and less performance, less more art. So I went into that because it was a nice balance.
Mm-hmm.
And after school, I pursued that further. So I joined an agency, and I was head of content. So what that meant is really I was in charge of the content that the agency was producing for its clients and for itself. So this is like video content, audio, graphic, whatever. Because now I was in that space already. I was doing a lot of photography, videography, editing, and everything. I was just directing storytelling for businesses. I was just not doing it as an art form in terms of performance or like TV drama, the way people have expected it. I was just helping businesses tell their stories. And I was using everything I've learned.
And that's
as
becoming a
storyteller.
thing.
Yeah. So everything I'd learned about storytelling, I now just translated it to businesses and just help businesses tell their story.
Yeah. So you got this job in agency. Are you still there?
No. So I worked on my first agency, went on my second agency again. This same position, content, and I did a little bit of operations. But now that stopped. That was now like I did that until now the point where COVID started, 2020.
2020.
So before I even knew COVID was going to be a thing, so that was like in 2019. I quit my job and I wanted now to pursue whatever I was doing in the agencies, in my own outfit, in my own business. And little did that was the worst time to start a business because
True.
we started it in January, and then before we even get like I get my first client by March. Now COVID and everything just happened, and now the clients that I was lucky enough to have already handed like just started cutting their contracts by half or just cutting their contracts completely. So I just found myself and before I left, like what haunts me is just before I left, this guy was always like, Akuya, I'm going to like 50% increase your salary. Don't you?
So that was always back of your
Yeah,
mind.
that was always the back of my head because I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Like I got into entrepreneurship at the worst time.
Yeah.
When everything was hitting. I don't have like long-term relationships I could hold on and people would like really understand, be like, I know this guy, we've worked with him together, so let's just stick through this corona thing. No, I didn't have that. I was just like, we were just really new. And it was really hard for me and my business partner.
It's me, by the way. It's me. Because
Yeah, so that's what so that's what happened.
So how did you survive that period?
It was insane. So a lot. So I downgraded my lifestyle completely. Started trying to live off the means I had, but then it also get to a point that it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So I just called my mom. Yeah, so
let's go back, man.
Yeah, so I just called my mom. I'm like, siwezi teseka in Nairobi.
Ukiwa na mama yako Nairobi.
No, uko hapa, so I'm coming home.
Yeah.
So I just told her that. I just told her I'm coming home. I can't sustain whatever I have going on. Let me just come and try and figure things out.
And it's okay by the way to go back.
It was a hard decision because you came out of school, you've been working, you've had your life, upgrade, things have just been going on well, career imekuwa progress, everyone's so it can be really hard to just like kusita tu mkutano na kusema it's just time I need to and because I already unajua some people don't have such a person to go to and but I was lucky, I was fortunate enough to have my mother there, and I was like, I'll just call her, just talk to her. So I just called her. So the first time I did, we had a conversation, and I can boost like a month. So I can boost like a month of rent and like supplies. But then I was like, no, I can't do this every month. I can't just keep. It's better if we just stay under the same roof, and then I figure myself out. When I get back, I'll stand up. So I went back home. I went back home, stayed with my mom. At that time, look on Nigeria, it's just going to be like 3 months, 6 months, but how long did it take? It took how long did it take, man? It took a while because now what would happen is I'd get a client, something doesn't work out. So I think at the end of it, it was almost like a year and a couple months.
And what's the hardest thing you can say when it comes to maintaining a client?
Maintaining a client.
Yeah, so you've started a business. Now you've mentioned that you'll get a client and then things don't work out. So what have you learned within that experience?
First of all, is just be clear. As long as both of you are clear on what both of you are expecting from a client. So, like, if whatever I was providing was like digital marketing and 1, 2, 3, and we're clear on the deliverables and what we are going to do. As long as that is maintained, everything is usually fine. But there are a lot of factors to losing a client. Some are not even you as a business.
Yeah.
Some are just them. Maybe they realized they thought they wanted something, but then they realized they can't sustain it or whatnot.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a lot of that, and you just have to find the right people, first, like clients who are willing to work with you in that way. And you also need to deliver, but they also need to deliver on their side, because now I've lost clients because they just can't keep the end of the bargain, like they can't pay up in time and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no, we can't do it like that. Yeah, because we both need to have that.
Okay, so what happened that you now decided to get out of your mother's house? Like, did things look up? Did you get a job, or what happened? And then you decided, oh, now it's time.
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of so when I was in my mom's place, that's when I also transitioned into tech. Yeah. And started my transition into tech, because I can't say I'm fully there, although my actions are really right now mostly just in tech, whatever I'm doing, but I'm not fully into tech. It's not sustaining me like fully, completely.
So what did you start with?
So I started learning. I just started learning again. I know I was always interested. Sometimes I would just sit, watch random tutorials and stuff, just get acquainted kiasi, but I was never really getting my hands dirty into tech. But now when I had this chance, I was in my mom's place, I knew like, Saizi, I'm lucky enough, someone's sheltering me. I have the liberty, like I have that chance to take this chance on myself and try something new, because someone else is like paying the rent. So so I started with that. So I started learning web development. So just the basics of web development, the basic languages and everything.
And how are you learning?
Just online.
So which platforms, for
course.
example?
So I just picked this course by this doctor. She's called Angela Yu. She's actually like a medical doctor, also turned into tech. So me, that story was like, so she transitioned. I relate with her, but she's also an amazing teacher.
Yeah.
So Angela Yu, that's what I just learned the basics of. And
was it free though? Because nowadays we have a lot of courses online, but some are free, some are not. So was it free?
No. Or? So Angela's use course was not free, but it wasn't that expensive. I think it was $10 or something. Let's call it affordable. Yeah, it was affordable. I say that because there are courses that are thousands of dollars in tech.
So this one was just $10.
Yeah,
that's like 1,000.
1,000 shillings. It was around 1,000 shillings.
Right now it's around 1,240.
Yeah.
That's affordable.
So if you compare like most courses in tech, and then this one is like on the low end. And the reason why I did that and did not go with the free stuff is because the free stuff are there. The information is there. Whatever I got with Angela's course, I would have gotten it anywhere. But there's no structure. If you're on YouTube, you'll watch and then you'll watch the next suggested video.
That is so true.
And you'll watch and you have no structure there. Yeah. You don't know what you should start with first. You don't know what you should do next. You don't know how these concepts are aligned. You might jump into like a very heavy concept. You feel like, okay, if this is an introductory course, then I'm done. But that's probably an intermediate topic. Yeah. And you have no idea what's intermediate or not. Yeah. But with that structure of someone who spent the time to just shape the course in such a way, they start you with this, then this, and everything just adds up. It's easier because once I was done with that, I've not paid for another course because now at least I understand the landscape better. If I want to understand
the foundation.
If I want to understand a particular topic, I just go to the documentation or something, or maybe just a few videos here, someone's blog. But it's not now a whole course again, because now I have a better understanding of how the landscape looks. I just know, actually, I don't know this, so I'll just do that a little bit. Yeah. So now the question was, how did I come out to like my mom's place?
Yeah.
So what happened is now I was still doing some of the content stuff. So I was helping. I had a client. My major client he was running a YouTube channel. So he's a fitness expert, and I was his editor. And we would do videos. We would work. We would do like 3 videos a day.
Wow, that's heavy.
3 videos a day, and it's like 30-minute workouts, 1 hour workouts, 45-minute workouts. It was insane, and we were grinding. And that was okay. That was sustainable because now since I was getting into shape, I was starting to save up. And then now because I learned programming, he was also, apart from the YouTube channel, he was also selling this 6-week weight loss challenge thing. And he had a website where he would attract people to come and like sign up and stuff. So I was like, hey, yes, I now know web development as well. Give me that side of your business. Let me handle it for you as well. Yeah, and he gave me, and so I used to also started like I just started now creating pages, web pages, small pages and websites for him. Things like that, forms he could receive info, input, so I started helping now with tech, and that's like the secret because I already had these skills and I already have a client. You just like now start to upskill them slowly. And now once I did that for a while, my work got recognized, and this was like before, like a year before the elections started. But just my work in terms of the content side and the tech skills and how I was merging them together came into play. So now I was contracted by IBC, so I got a job. So I was contracted by IBC, and I got a job to help with election operations.
Yeah.
And
That just nice?
communications. Yeah, it was really nice.
So what are you doing right now?
Right now, I have. Right now, I'm jobless again because my contract ended.
My government.
Yeah, my contract ended and it wasn't renewed. So I'm very jobless, and I'm really looking for something to do.
But you also are you still practicing your tech side? Now you're looking for a job in the tech side, or
Yeah, so now I'm really into tech because now I've really increased. I've really worked on my skills, and whatever I'm looking for right now is an opportunity in tech. So I have I've been doing a lot of work. I've been collaborating online with guys, open source work. So most of the work I'm doing is out there, but now I'm just looking for either meaningful employment or clientele. But I got this offer just recently by a startup that's also starting up. Like they're just now getting their foot, and they wanted me to be a developer.
Yeah.
So that's something that's coming up. So we're just clearing that, and we see. And that's good because I'm coming in early.
Yeah.
I'm like a chief developer there. So that sounds like a very interesting opportunity that I'm currently exploring.
I hope you get it, man.
Yeah.
So last question before we go to finishing the podcast. How have you merged your film side to your tech side? Do they merge? Do you use your film side in when you're doing your tech stuff, or you've forgotten about the film side?
No, I've not forgotten it at all, actually. So one of the ways I'm actually directly working on it is I also have a YouTube channel, and I've started teaching people.
Oh wow!
Programming. Yeah, so I've started teaching people programming, and specifically programming in C. So this is like low level programming stuff.
Yeah.
So the reason why I started that is I'm also like in another program called ALX. So they teach people. It's a software engineering program. So I'm still continuing with it, but it's very low level stuff. But I've been finding it very, I've been cruising. I've been finding it very easy. So I'm like, I need to help my peers and the other people starting this journey. Yeah. So I just record myself coding, going through problems, concepts, and explaining concepts. So I'm teaching a lot of that. So that's one way I'm using my film still in tech. But one of the things like I really learned that was really been helpful, things like because one of the contributions I made to one of the open source activities I've had is like I've animated like a couple of websites, but now I've made it into tech. Things like logos and stuff like that in a way that's more accessible in the web and lightweight. And you see, that's me incorporate, like I know I know my ways around After Effects and my motion graphics and animation, and I also know how to code. I bring them together and I produce something interesting. So yeah, and it's helping. So it's like helping other people just bring interactivity and bring richness to their websites. So that's another thing. But one thing, the main thing I've realized is communication. And what I learned through film and theater is just storytelling and being a good communicator. And that has helped me greatly as a software developer, because a lot of people can't communicate, can't talk clearly, can't tell a story. But I pick a project and I can write really good documentation. I can tell a really good story. I can design accompanying graphics, and people just always find it very interesting that I can communicate very well. So I think that's the best way in which whatever I learned, whatever I've been doing in content is like helping me or manifesting in like when I'm doing tech work.
So, what advice would you give to anyone who wants to transition or learn a new skill from one industry to learning another skill from a totally different industry? Short. What advice would you give that person?
First is like just go for it. Because if you don't do it now,
then when?
Like you might say, oh, it's going to take me 2 years to actually learn this.
Yeah.
The 2 years are going to pass. So it's just a matter of 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Will you say, okay, I'm going to start now or not? Right? Just start. The other thing is you don't need to like approach your life completely. I've seen other people who have been able to transition in the middle of doing work and everything. And all they have to do, like that time I was learning tech at my mom's place. It wasn't even I had the whole day and I was just learning tech because I still had clients. I was churning out 3 videos a day for a client.
Yeah.
All I could do is just set aside 1 hour before I go to sleep and 1 hour after I wake up before I do anything else to just read. Only that. And that was enough. That was enough to get me in 2 months. I had finished Angela's course and I could build websites.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that was just 1 hour a day or at least 2 hours when I had time. Yeah. So only that, and I was able to transition with the hardest of jobs, like editing from 8 till 9.
Editing is a lot of work.
Yeah, because I had to edit, render, edit. Yeah, so it was insane. So that's my advice. Just start and just start small. Set aside 30 minutes, set aside 1 hour a day before you sleep or before you do anything else. And before you know it, you'll have the necessary skills, and then now you'll start connecting with people in that area, and this transition is slowly happening. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So start now, and let me tell you, you're enough. Thank you so much, Akuya, for gracing our this season.
Thank you for having me.
Have a beautiful journey. But if you have any more questions and you'd like to know more about his journey, you can follow him on his social media. Which platform?
Twitter.
At Akuya Ekorot?
Yeah, Akuya_Ekorot.
Akuya_Ekorot. In case you have, we'll also be featuring him probably if you have any more questions. Anyway, thank you for joining us.
If you want to learn programming, you can check out my YouTube channel.
Plug yourself, man. Plug yourself.
Yeah, so I'll provide the links probably to there, but check out my YouTube channel. It's called Segfault. But the reason is because it's a joke, because when you code in C and there's an error called segmentation fault. So we call it Segfault. So we'll put the link
and you can follow him and you can learn more if you want to transition into this industry. Thank you. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at The Journey Africa. Listen to our podcast on YouTube, share, subscribe, and also on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts, and all other platforms. So thank you. Until next time, keep it real. Bye.
Bye.